Hey, everybody, and I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I know I am having the start of a great weekend. One of the subjects I want to talk about today is why are people so rude sometimes? It's one of those things, and how do you navigate it, and how do you use their rudeness as a way to find peace? I want to kind of start off with a quick story because this happened probably about a month and a half ago, something like that. And I'm sure you guys know when your car, when it gets cold outside, the tires in your car, always the air in the tires always gets a little low. And so I've been driving around, and all the tire places, all the little pumps, air pumps, were broken. They were out of order. So I finally, and I wasn't super low. It's only, I just needed a couple pounds of pressure. So I ended up driving around, and I can't find a place. And so I finally found a Wawa, and I'm waiting in line with my turn signal on, and this girl drives up and literally cuts in front of me to um, basically fill her tire up more. And I was like, or before me. So I was like, did she really just do that? And of course, my mind is going, unfreaking believable. And so I honk my horn at her, and she literally turns her back to me. And I rolled down my window and said, "Hey, thanks for cutting me off in line." And she literally just turned her head even more, so she was looking away from me. And I thought, "Hey, I could literally say something or do something and make a big scene here, or I could just drive away." And so then I went home and processed it because the ego starts winding this up and think that rude bee, all that other kind of stuff. How dare she cut me off? All this other kind of stuff. And so I started to look at it, and of course, it doesn't condone being rude. But I wanted to ask the question: why would somebody feel like their life or whatever they're going through is more important than me, or anybody else for that matter? And the world is full of this kind of stuff right now. And incidentally, we could say maybe she was being selfish, all that stuff. We could judge her for a lot of different reasons. But as I started to think about it, I started to think about I don't know what's going on in her brain. She could have a panic going on. People do a lot of things when their anxiety is kicked into high gear. There's a sense of entitlement. I don't know. And it's really not for me to decide. I don't even know this woman. She might be one of the kindest women in the world, and just was not, she was in rare form that day. So I started to think about it. Does this make me less of a person? Because what ends up happening is when you feel disrespected, you start to feel like this always happens to me. Why can't people treat me with respect? All that other kind of stuff. And the story starts to spin out of control in your mind. And so then I was like, well, wait a second. Just because she was disrespectful doesn't mean I don't have, other people don't have respect for me. And I don't need other people to have respect for me. I have respect for myself. And so I thought, you know, I'm just going to drive away because it's not worth me getting into a heated discussion with this person. So I'm telling you this story because how often does this happen? How often do we feel disrespected? We feel like somebody put us out, all that kind of stuff. And then you have to ask yourself the question, what is it worth, getting that heated and that upset over air? And how many times in our lifetime, or even in the last 6 months to a year, have we let a situation just get to us and we're angry about it? Now, am I going to say I'm going to handle everything perfectly? No, because chances are maybe a week from now, a month from now, or 6 months from now, something might hit me and I won't be able to, control my reaction. But what ends up happening is the more and more you make choices. This is a choice for your soul. The more and more you make choices based on what your soul wants. And this was very interesting because at this time, I thought there was something inside of me that says, just drive away, just let it go. And so now you could say that was my spirit guides. You could say it was my angels or my instincts or my intuition or another part of myself. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is that you listen to it and you made a choice to listen to it over your anger or your ego or whatever wounded part of yourself that you have. And so then if it's really wounded, then you get a chance. This is an amazing opportunity to stop and say, why did you let something that like that affect you. Now, there could be a lot going on in your life. You could have, everybody disrespecting. You could have your kids disrespecting. You could have your parents disrespecting. You could have your spouses disrespecting. You could have your bosses disrespecting, your employees disrespecting, and you're just going through this cycle of, wow, what is up with this? Why am I going through all this? And so, um, and then you have to start looking at the energy, because there are, of course, times to set boundaries. So this is also an opportunity to say, wait a second. Because one thing that's very interesting is that, people, we can love people and care about even people in our own lives, and we set boundaries for them. And then there is also people that are constantly rude to us, and for whatever reason they're going through. So this is the important thing is that we're not making excuses for their behavior. So I'm not making an excuse for this girl. I actually took a look at it, and I was like, and just made a choice to say, this is not something I need to act on. This is not something, she was obviously, for her body language and everything else, she wasn't going to hear anything that I had to say. And that's not worth, that amount of headache. Now, with your other people that are closer to you, there might be an opportunity where you need to speak up. And that's important as well, because the energy system needs to have that energy flowing out of you to be able to let it go. And if we're holding on to it, if we're not allowing ourselves to let go and speak, because letting go isn't always about walking away. Sometimes letting go is speaking up. And so the discernment in that is allowing that part of yourself, not the anger part of yourself, the one that's at peace, that says, no, I need to say something about this. This is something I need to speak up about. And this is how I feel. And so that you can process, because a lot of times it's a misunderstanding and you don't want that to fester within you. And sometimes it's something that people aren't even aware of that they did, and there wasn't an intention, and then they can be more cognizant of it. These are the dynamics of people. And the only way, especially the people we interact with, our teams, our families, our friends, all that kind of stuff, especially if we continue to hold things in and we don't say anything, the dynamics never change. And that festering of energy starts to make you resent the people you care about or the people you interact with on a regular basis. So again, letting go sometimes is just letting go of what needs to be said and letting it come out, or letting go and letting actions happen as a result of whatever it is you're feeling compelled on. And so one of the things I do is I talk about it, or I ponder it and think about it, and start pondering what I want to do. And you don't necessarily have to make a decision right away. Like one of the things that I do, if it's a major decision, I always say, I'm going to ponder this for a couple days. And the reason being is because I want to get that battle going on, because major decisions, there's usually a, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Or, this is back and forth. And I want to get it to the point where it's a very decisive decision. And so the only way to do that is to ponder it. And, or sometimes it feels like it lines up and you do act on it. But there is one of those things where if you have that back and forth going on, you should probably sit on it for a couple of days. And then when you do make a decision, it's very decisive. And so that's one thing where, in that moment with this girl, I didn't have that opportunity to take a couple days to make a decision. So I made a decision in the moment. But if I have to say something to my boss or one of my friends or one of my employees, sometimes I'll take a couple days to think about it, because I want to make sure that I'm in alignment and it's not a misunderstanding, or that it's really not just some internal egoic reaction from myself. And you want to take time to ponder that. And then when you finally say something, it comes with compassion, understanding, and you're wanting to actually get to the truth of the matter. And so it's not about right or wrong or blame and shame and all that kind of stuff. It's literally to release both souls into whatever that means. Now, that could mean the ending of friendship. It could be the ending of a relationship. It could also mean the bringing that relationship closer and tighter. So there's a lot of different things that we want to think about when we are dealing with people that are rude. And we can use that rudeness as a way to find peace within ourselves by either speaking up or letting go and walking away. So there's a lot of things that we can do that for. And just so you guys all know, my website is up there on the screen, storytellingalchemist.com. If you ever want to do a session with me, that's something that we can actually work together to sort out and start to practice in these sessions and flipping the story within you so that you can have significant changes in your life. Also, I just wanted to point out that I am doing a retreat in Belize, October 3rd through the 7th of 2022. And if you wanted to know, the actual website for that is heartalchemyretreats.com. And so go check it out, and much love, everybody. But if you wanted to do any type of session with me, you would just go to storytellingalchemist.com. Much love, and have a great rest of your weekend.